Yo, what's up? Welcome back to Project Zero. Rishiv here with another video podcast, Grandpa's Slice of Life for orphans who need lessons or maybe don't need lessons. I don't know. Anyways, this is another continuation, another segue. We've got some events to cover in terms of the people we've met. We've had meals with a variety of people who have been quite supportive, and I've just also brought some positive public interactions. You know, the tide is changing constantly. 6 months time, public behavior is even different. Like, it's just the developing relations. I just want to mark some positive relations using the food that is kind of like a hallmark of what goes on, right? So again, there's gonna be more trash, more garbage, more food, but the main highlight, of course, is always what events go on, the stories behind, the stories that are being told behind them. Now, I actually want to cover something else, but I'm looking at the time. I recognize I can't cover that much, unfortunately. So I'd like to do more than one recording, but I can't. So anyways, first of all, those are the main topics if you wanted to. So that's going to be important because first, what's the main highlight that you want to share that's positive, that's something good in your life? Just briefly, nothing specific, or something specific, but without any details that would give away your personal information. Don't do that. So second thing is also, if it's something negative, you want to vent a little bit. Nothing too, again, don't give away too much. And if there's no bad news, it's good news, right? And the last thing, of course, is if there was something related to relationships or significant events, that you had a meal with a buddy, with a friend, or with your business partners, or you had a gathering, a reunion with a bunch of old friends from way back. Feel free to chime that in because that's a relatable share. I'm sharing my stories, you're sharing your stories, and we're just checking in on each other. And the last thing, of course, if you want to switch up all of these questions just to throw a hilarious joke or a meme that you wanted to go full force and just full force. Who says that anymore? Full force, go for it and just lighten things up. All right, so let's just get right to it. Again, this is Slice of Life in real life. I'll just say that at the very end, the introduction, authentic VR paradox. First thing we'll do is let's cover all the material stuff here, because I do have a story to cover about other items that are already thrown away, but that mark just as important meals and dinners and time spent with people I care about. So we'll start off with the things that you can actually see, and what this bag here is for the most part. I can't remember where this bag comes from, so we'll start on the inside. And apologize if I'm speaking a little bit too loud or not loud enough. It's because I have my Bluetooth earphones on right now. I just came back and I didn't switch clothes or anything. I'm only gonna be here for 2 hours and then I gotta go again. So what's inside here in this bag is Dr. Pepper. Should throw this away. It's from Dollarama. It's got 0 sugar, so 600 mils. And then so we're gonna cover groceries first, all right? It's kind of more boring. Then there's some receipts here, so on the way it covers with it. So there's Walmart receipts, and it seems like a Seafood City receipt. Seafood City is something I want to cover because that actually was for somebody else. And the Walmart receipt has the peanut punch, 2 of them for $1.20 or whatever, and a orange Powerade. Okay, so that's basically the peanut punch here. That's a cartridge. It's recyclable. It's about 250 mils, and it has way too much sugar, 25 grams of sugar. But it's just a treat. Really, it's just a treat. So I pull out the straw. And that's garbage. The rest of the cartridges for recyclables. And then the receipts obviously are garbage. The Dr. Pepper bottle is for recyclables. Another bottle that is also for recyclables is this Gatorade 0 grams of sugar and cherry flavored. So I just got this one today, and it's only for $1. Again, so far we haven't talked about any people yet, but this is the more mundane, trivial stuff, right, that you would do, as I'm going by a certain district or area of the city versus a different district. Let's say I'm calling up a contractor. Let's say I gotta go to the library to punch in an email. Let's say I gotta respond to 3-4 calls to different people. I'll be in certain areas, certain places, and then I just go to the dollar store, the grocery store that's nearest by, that has the convenient items that are affordable. At least. So there's some backstory, right? Again, it's very vague right now until it gets to specific stories. We have this kind of Burger King. This one was just me eating alone. Honestly, I was just like trying some food. I think it was like I don't know. What did I try? It was like some kind of wrap. I think it was butter chicken. Supposed to be utensils. Again, that's all garbage. Here's another receipt. 2 or 3 receipts, I think. We have one from, what is this? Dollarama. And it covers some bacon bites, some electrolyte beverage, so that's probably Gatorade again, and some Jack's Links. I don't know. Oh, Jack's Links is that stick of, I don't know, pepperoni, of beef jerky, all that kind of stuff. Next, we have also a receipt from, oh, this is interesting, Canadian Tire. So this is actually worth mentioning, but I don't have it here. So this is not a food item. This is something that's actually a bed mattress cover. And I think I covered that. No, I did cover that. I covered the physical item before. This is the receipt for that. Okay. And of course, that was just to cover up the bed sheets and the bed mattress for the shelter that I'm going to right now. Of course, you know, at the shelter, it's not like that you actually need. I thought I needed it, but here's the interesting thing. So I was speaking to the staff at the shelter, you know, the second day in. And of course, it's like past midnight. And he says, you know, you don't actually have to worry about the shelter's beds because, you know, I was telling him, he's like, him and his colleagues, we got along, we hit off really well. Obviously, some of these are social workers, some of them are just property management. And he's like, you know, no, she's like, she comes down, she's from like way in one of those African countries. I don't want to say which, once again, I don't want to, but you can think of like Somalia, Nigeria. Anyway, she came and talked to me. She's like, and we hit it off really well, you know, and it was very friendly, very warming, very welcoming. And she found me at 3 a.m. at night the day beforehand. She's like, why are you sitting here? Or there's a bed upstairs. I said, you know, I don't really want to do that because since it's a shared dorm, I was worried about bed bugs and stuff like that. And she's like, oh, okay, sure. That makes sense. So you want to go ahead and buy something from like a Home Depot store the next day and get some covers to wrap it in plastic. So then the next day, right, at night I come, and then it's the funny thing is her other colleague sees me. And as I'm going in, and I say, you know, I just went ahead and bought the covers. And he's like, you know how to do that. I asked him about the curfew, right? And then he starts to get curious. He's like, okay, why are you asking me about this? So he's like, oh, well, here's the situation. Here's what I'm trying to do. He's like, you don't have to do that because we have 24/7 pest control. So we had a really big laugh about that. He's like, but it's good thinking. It's really smart thinking. But, you know, we had a bit of a laugh because it was really not necessary. So I'll put that down as well. Okay. If I am shaking a little bit, it's because there's like I have to get this video. It's gonna be a 20-minute video, and I don't have enough time to, you know. So that's why it's like basically I'm on the run again. So I'm trying to get it all done. All right. So next, and there's so many stories to tell. You know, it's like you go throughout, you know, 48 hours, 2 days. There's so many things that can happen in 2 days. Of course, you know, you're not supposed to try and cover it all. Maybe that's my problem, of course, right? You know, but still, I want to cover as much as I can, which is less than 10%, honestly. Here's another story. This is what is it? Is this from Adonis? No, this is from Seafood City. So this barbecue thing is a Filipino food. It's a Filipino dessert. It's like deep fried batter around jackfruit or starfruit and banana. And it was recommended to me from my buddy who works at, you know, a transit company. And, you know, we sat down there and he really wanted to introduce me there because he says, you know, it's just so affordable. The hot food section is amazing. It's almost like restaurant quality. It's like it's like a low star rated restaurant quality stuff, but it's still good hot food. Good enough to get you by for sure, without question. And for, you know, a huge portion, there's 2 foot long of these desserts. It's like $7.99, $8. Still fairly cheap for the modern day standards now after inflation and COVID and pandemic. Anyways, also got some noodles, and I paid for the majority of it. And then he also bought me like a coconut kind of like a boku juice drink thing that had milk in it or whatever. The point is, you know, there was just he hit me up. And I was quite reluctant. I wasn't actually too happy about going there because I didn't want to spend. And I also had other things I had to do during that time. But I figured I just tested out the camera that he had helped me set up. I said, you know, let's just give him some time. Because I know for him personally, his values, he really likes spending time with people. So here's another kind of grocery item. This is So this is related to my new leased unit, whatever, downtown. So this one has some jalapeno chips or some peanuts beforehand, just some non-perishable food inside a green produce plastic bag. And what that's all about is that I just put it inside the fridge, you know, down, because I thought that, you know, as I'm hiring contract, he has to set up the internet, the Wi-Fi, the home internet, and as well as got the pest control over, as well as I got the, you know, the security cam working, you know, all that kind of stuff. Along the way, I am at the place, and it'd be nice to have some food there. So I do have just one bag of food, and that's what that was. It was this green bag, and it's all finished, so it's all garbage. Okay. Take out the straw, toss it inside here, also garbage as well. Lots of events, right? Now, what else do we have that's also kind of strong? I think this is the last thing that's kind of grocery related. This is a bacon bits flavor just from dollar store. Again, for $1.50 or something like that. And but that's recyclable. So the last couple things here are all recyclables. We have this peanut punch, this root beer, this Gatorade stuff. And then we also have these two bottles here. And this is a bacon bits kind of thing as well. It's just a spice thing. You sprinkle it over like black pepper or oregano. And then this one over here is Biomega, which is, of course, one of those nutritional products that I mentioned that is part of my side business. So it's empty now, and I have replenished it with a new bottle. And I'm going to basically open it and see if I can fit inside the bacon bits thing to make it a little bit easier. It's not going to fit. So I'm just going to toss this all separately, and it's not a big deal. But to make it easier for myself, I am going to toss everything inside this bag, even if they're recyclable, and I'll just hand pick and toss them out individually. Okay. And that's about it for that particular section. The receipts go in here as well. I'm not going to keep anything here anymore. Of course, once I was done covering the mass receipts episodes, which I had 3 episodes, I believe, of math receipts, like 50, 70 receipts. Now it's all done. Okay, next thing. And I can't really cover this. So if I have everything already up here in one single bag, I want to say that you can think of this and then triple this. You can, how do you say that? Yeah, just triple it. You know, imagine 3 different bags, and one of them says Magic Noodle. So Magic Noodle, I went with a friend again, and he invited me over. He really wanted me to go down to the core of the northern area of our district. Again, no names mentioned, no area names mentioned, but he wanted me to go down like the central road, the most busy road, which has all these food shops and restaurant shops, and he wanted to treat me there. Conflicted I was, because it was on the weekend, but even on the weekend, I had stuff to do. I still had clients to call, still volunteering to a certain degree. And it's a new client. So I took that quite important. I said, okay, we'll try and make this work. And, I arrived earlier, got the table, and I was waiting. He arrives, we had a good conversation, and said, halfway through this, I also had to call a client. And he knew, But, so then he went to the washroom, and then I started calling the client. And I had to leave early because it just took him, he was taking his business, because he has a really tight schedule. So the hilarious thing is he was doing something that I did before. He was actually using the washroom to brush his teeth. I was like, there's no way you just said that out loud. But he totally said it out loud in the middle of a restaurant. And I was snickering on the inside. I was like, all right. I get it. But yeah, I went to call the client. I went outside, had a great conversation with a new client at the seniors home who's gone through a tragic, there's always that kind of stuff. Life is cruel to everyone. And this poor man, again, no private, confidential details disclosed, but let's just say he's lost everyone he's loved in his life, right? He's not 70. He's not 70 years old yet, but, and he was working in, you could think of something like management and some sort of like, I don't know, like construction or real estate or, investment broker. He was doing financially very well. And at one point, and many times in his life, he had, lots of people in his circle. And, the pandemic hit. And for him, some people have benefited from the pandemic. But for me, I benefited, for example. For him, he did not. In fact, it took away a lot of his mobility, took away a lot of his social circle. And I'm just going to leave it like that. So, we just talked and we hit it off. Because I've always been able to connect, it seems, at least in the previous generation, the silent generation to call it. with the seniors. I've never really been able to connect as well with people my age or younger, even a little bit older. It's always been the people who have lived through their lives who I can always connect with the most well. And I also like to listen, so that helps as well. So that's the client. And then there's another interaction, which was, again, just with my buddy. So there were two things kind of put together, and that was for one of the major bags. It's like a magic noodle bag that I took for tape because I didn't finish everything. And I believed, again, I paid for everything there as well, but believe me when I say that my buddy has paid in full for other times. So we're just paying back and forth, really. And, you know, again, he helped me to set up the camera, so I appreciate that as well. So anyways, there's this magic noodle, you know, I'm sure you know what that is. It's just like a Chinese kind of thing. And I bought a dish and he bought a dish. It was like a duck dish for me, and he had beef, and together it was like after tips and tax. And it was also really nice. We had a really nice waiter as well. Usually it's not quite like that anymore. I remember back when, before COVID, it was like that. But after the pandemic, I just think customer service has been exposed to so much bullshit that they become kind of like bullshitty themselves. So like, everyone's just kind of really fed up with each other. Or it's more than that, of course. There's always like, oh, there's TikTok, there's Twitter, there's, you know, different generations. Oh, there's like, you know, people are just angry. Sometimes people are just focused on essential problems now. So it's like people are frustrated, they're stressed out, they're low on finance. There's all these, there's a myriad I could list. I just listed 8 different factors why people could be angry, upset, and judgmental. But that's why it was so nice, because not only did I speak with a volunteer client here and also eat with my buddy, but also the waiter was super, super, super warm. Okay, so that's a huge bag in itself, and I really appreciate that experience. It was a good day. It was a good experience. Next thing, the third bag, right? So there was one bag here. There's all the garbage you can see. There's another bag which I threw away. It's the magic noodle. And then there's a third bag. The third bag is just recently, just as I before came back right now and started this video. And it's the last thing I'm gonna cover here. I'm gonna hold this up because there's nothing else for you guys to see. Well, I guess there is something you can see because right now, yeah, I can put this down. Because I noticed that this is the scene that has the pumping, you know, music on the side right here. The little widget that I kind of created. But basically, the third one is I just met with my business partners, and we had this great conversation right before I came back here, and they treat me like family. I treat them like family. And you know, one of them, her husband is in, you know, protein synthesis, and she herself is in doing nursing for at least, you know, 30 years. And you know, we just hit it off really well because I'm from biomedical science, and I at one point wanted to be a physician. So although I cast that to the side completely, but basically we just really hit it off really well, and we're business partners. And a fantastic person. She's telling me about her son, and you know, I'm asking how her son and daughter are doing, because you know, they're actually older than me. I would say, you know, it's like older siblings from a brother and sister from another mother. Right? That's how it is. And they're doing well. One is doing his own business, another's doing her own business, and you know, they all in kind of opposing fields. One's in like business, finance, marketing, more practical. The other one's was like artsy kind of thing, but she's still making a living and she's killing it, so I'm happy. Anyways, although there's some certain struggles, but again, nothing private I'm gonna disclose. So, but then of course, it's just been such a long time since I've been able to see them, and they always keep trying to hit me up and bring me out. I really, really appreciate that. So we went to something called Congee here, so that's the third bag. And I was supposed to, they kept insisting, right? It's this kind of traditional Chinese thing, maybe not the CCP communism, but you know, the traditional Chinese thing you would do in Hong Kong is you're kind of fighting over to give each other food. It was ridiculous. It's stupid. It's totally not, you know, it's totally unnecessary that you should fight for the bill, that you should fight to give each other food to take out. You know, it's like, but that's what it was. And you know, I ended up just leaving the takeout food inside their car once they dropped it by. But basically inside was this small box of like, how do you call it? It's Singaporean, Xingzhou Lao Bako. And then another one was Xingzhou Lao Bako, Oisin Cao Mai Fan. Okay, so that's seafood rice noodles, stir-fried noodles. And we had a great dinner. We just sat there and we just kept talking for 2 hours. And you know, it was so helpful because as I've been training myself to be able to tune out the public harassment, because a lot of people just recognize it, they just won't shut up about it. And I've become totally deaf to it now, almost. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm almost there. And it feels really good to be like totally like just the fucking idiots, whatever. And then it's like, it doesn't take up even 2 seconds my thought. That's what my cousins like, and that's what my siblings like. And I'm at that point now right? It's almost there. It's almost there. It's almost good. And then they just really bolstered it when I was there, having this conversation with them and noticing that they just don't know. They don't care. They notice, they know, but they don't even, it's like nothing to them. And then I just totally went in on that vibe. And we just had the greatest conversation, and nothing else in the world mattered except for the conversation that the three of us were having. And that's how I want it to be from now on, I mean, that's how I always wanted to be, but we are going to continue on that trend. So that being said, that's everything. So there would be 3 bags. Of course, 1 bag I left for them, the couple, the business couple and their son. I said, take this one, and they didn't want it, but I didn't really give them a choice. They thought I would take it with me. I just got left in their car. Another thing was there's this garbage here, there's everything here, there's story here as well. And then there's another story, of course, the magic noodle one, Congee Queen, magic noodle, and then this grocery stuff. The magic noodle having to do with the volunteers and whatnot. Now I know that was a lot. That was sped up really fast. I'm speaking like a, Alvin and the Chipmunks from back in the 1990s, whatever. Okay, but the point is, there was a lot of storytelling, there's a lot of relationships, a lot of good times, and I just wanted to share that. And thank you for tuning in. Quick heads up, I have to say to what's your name? NBA Young Cousin. I know it's too late for this. By the time you see and hear this video, I know you keep dropping in, and I really appreciate that. I just wanted to know, I'm trying to get back to your messages, and you don't have to. I would hope that, of course, you're just moving on with your life as you go along. But the point is, obviously, I'm going through a lot right now, and I really wish I could just, maybe that's what I'll do. I'll just hop into Twitter and drop a little note. Hey, I'm trying to get back to everything. I will get back to your messages as soon as I can. But I appreciate you being here and listening, and that you have been able to feel some content just to talking a little bit. And I'm going to get back to you as soon as I can as well. Believe me, you're not the only one. There are people I know in person. I had to make 7 calls today because, it's like within an hour, trying to catch up with certain people who have reached out to me, and then I missed their call for a week. And then, so I have to better manage and maybe, tone down certain aspects, and other aspects need to go up, others need to go down. I have to just manage it all a little bit better. So thanks for tuning in, and I appreciate that. And here's the appreciation animation, and it's the last video I'm going to record here because I got to make a run for it. I'm going to make it for the curfew. I'm going to upload everything. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Again, slice of life. Here's the intro. At the very end, slice of life in real life, SOL, IRL, mesh match together to create this authentic VR paradox, where you can have on this side, high, heavy responsibilities, of course, domains of life such as finance, health, finance, relationships. I said finance twice because it's really important. Housing, that was just a mistake. And then on the left hand side, you have more interesting things like artificial intelligence, like self-therapy, all that kind of stuff, and content creation, whatever. So thanks for tuning in. See you guys in the next one. Peace out, and yeah, bye.